In today's video, for every free game, I'm going to be talking about an equally important paid game, each one getting better. Also, there's going to be a redeem code for a very good game for both Android and iOS for one game that I'm going to be revealing in the video. This is Mobile, and here's top 20 mobile games you absolutely need to try. So first of all, Boxheads, which is probably one of the better games, it actually came out with once again through a premium version with no ads, a bunch of perks and extras, and for just a few more hours, you can actually download the premium version for free. I did myself. So in a way, it's both a free and a paid game with as much grind to keep you busy like until the next World Cup. The game is basically a zombie survival roguelike that plays both offline and online with a pretty solid core loop of surviving and loot hunting. It's super smooth, fine-tuned, polished as hell, and for the premium, which you're going to be getting for free right now, there is exclusive faster progression, power-ups, more starter gifts, all for free. Shooter Charles has now finally arrived on Android and iOS. I mean, officially, there's been some fan and unofficial attempts that have actually been taken down, and we tried it. It is still one of the weirdest games in the bunch when we're talking about horror games. If you missed it on PC or any console before, the mobile version gives you the same quality of the PC version, basically nothing watered down here, pretty solid execution, offline play, and controller support as well. And we do actually highly recommend the game for people who do want a horror game, but something different. It's a relatively short experience of a game, roughly 4 or 5 hours in long, but it's the sort of game that doesn't stuff itself with filler just to claim a bigger playtime. Keep in mind, it's a premium game with a price tag of $4.99. Game of Thrones Kingsroad had its grand launch. Ever since it's been getting the attention it finally literally deserved before, the first autoplay MMO sort of as people saw when it was in beta. Now, it's more of a single-player action RPG than anything else, and it actually does a pretty good job in delivering real-time combat, some deep story bits and quests, series of iconic locations, characters, and plenty of familiar faces like Jon Snow, etc. It's not a perfect game, is what I'm saying, but it is definitely a much better game than we expected. If you're a Game of Thrones fan looking for a large-scale sort of adventure, Kingsroad might just be in one of this year's biggest surprises. This actually took a good 5 years to finally land on mobile, but it's finally here, and if you missed it, Bluefire is an adventure that sort of feels like someone tried to make old school Zelda dungeon crawling with some precise, almost Void Runner type of platforming. Although Bluefire did actually come out to Android about a year ago, it was taken down for whatever reason. It's now back, and there's a free demo for you to play as well. I think the game is at its best, technically, when you're going through these parkour areas, and less in the actual fighting. So if you like Zelda style exploration but also like enjoy skill-based platforming challenges in between, this is basically that blend. Super cute, pretty fun game, plays with an Xbox controller as well, simple enough to dive in at any time, yet engaging enough to keep playing for a long time. Highly recommend it. Down to number 5 with Escape Room Cursed Legacy. If you're into escape room games that actually make you think, this one is definitely worth a look. I'm gonna go a little extra, actually calling this a legit, near well done attempt to bring more of the room games, probably some of the best escape puzzle games that have ever come to Android and iOS. Cursed Legacy here is a free game through a couple of chapters, and it's a paid one then from there for the full 12-stage package. Very well made game overall, genuinely mind-bending puzzles, it's offline, and there's a tiny bit of story to uncover as well. Pretty clever game, a bit creepy, and a lot more ambitious than the average. This actually took a decade to come around, but for better or worse, Playdages finally decided to bring Slime Rancher to mobile, and the game is now live on both the Google and the Apple Store, with a rating of 5 out of 5. So Slime Rancher already proved itself as a super addictive and a satisfying game on the platform, since you're basically just running a slime farm on an alien planet, collecting bounce ball creatures, feeding them, mixing them, eventually turning them into profit. It sounds dumb, plays amazing, and Playdages didn't mess around porting it over either. It runs surprisingly well with or without a controller, and it does look pretty well in every single graphical setting. I'm gonna be covering Blasphemous today because after years of it just being out, we're still fascinated by the sheer difficulty, and replay value of the game. I'll say, if we're talking about Souls-like games in a way, Pascal's Wager, which is probably one of the most famous mobile games ever made, and Blasphemous are very close competitors, considering the fact that Blasphemous is like one less dimension, yet still delivers the same experience. If anything, actually even harder. It's not just the difficulty, there is something special. I wouldn't say even the atmosphere, it's just the soul of it, as if you're experiencing another dimension. The music, the story, the characters, this game is legitimately artistic. If you enjoy games like Hollow Knight, Dead Cells, or Castlevania, Blasphemous is, oh, by the way, the redeem code we talked about earlier in the video is somewhere around here for the game Blasphemous. The longer code is just redeemed on the Play Store, the shorter one is for the Apple Store. Anyway, Blasphemous is easily one of the strongest premium releases to hit mobile in years. Going down to number 8, we've got the AAA mobile port Racing Master. Let me just say, after years of regional launches, a lot of betas, waiting around and stuff, it is a beast, so finally available globally, and it might just be the closest thing mobile gaming has right now to a proper console-rated driving sim. This is, in case you didn't know, actually made by the same folks behind F1 and Dirt games. It's not trying to be like an arcade racer. It basically wants you to brake properly, learn driving, and actually drive. If you've been waiting for a serious mobile racing game that looks and feels premium, yet it's free, well, Racing Master is probably one of the strongest contenders we've seen in years. Moving down to number 9, we've got Busmasters. This game is actually downloaded almost 5 million times in just a week. And that's because it's an Indian game, because Indian games do usually get more downloads. It's actually pretty decent. It's built around a very specific idea, which is you're basically driving inner city bosses through the rhythm of India, which I said it before is like the equivalent of Dark Souls when we're talking about bus sim games. It's a very polished game. The visuals are really clean. Overall, it's a pretty grounded, well-made, polished driving sim. Let's focus on realism, progression, and capturing the everyday feel of Indian travel, with each boss handling differently, and not to mention, it supports offline play as well. Going down to number 10, you guessed it, we've got Off the Road 2. I'm gonna be saying it pretty brief to the point. This game is legitimately gold. If you love the original, this one's bigger, better, and far more ambitious in almost every conceivable way. You get no shortages of setting, vehicles, or replay. The game is packed. There's mountains, rivers, forests, mud trails, secrets to uncover, and you can discover them with either cars, boats, planes, whatever you want really. Most of the fun actually comes from going off course, climbing hills, doing difficult things, hauling cargo, finding shortcuts, and just basically seeing where physics takes you. This game is not trying to be a hardcore sort of sim race in any way. It is, you could say, an adventure sandbox first and foremost. Moving down to number 11 with the one and only Everness to Everness. This one's been building hype for quite a while now, finally out globally across pretty much every platform. And this isn't your usual open world game, it's like normal city life got mixed with something slightly a bit off. Like you're walking around doing a thing, then suddenly some anomaly shows up and now reality is all acting weird. You're basically taking jobs, hunting down these things while still living in the city, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's got that anime charm, a pretty clean visual, lots of side stuff, and it really feels alive, but not in a safe way though. Like the world's holding barely together. Anyway, check it out, it's an online game of course, it's just over 20 gigabytes in total.
Break away from the routine and hit the rooftops.
Sitting at number 12, it is One State RP. And to get to the point as well, not to waste any time, if you've ever really wanted a mobile game that feels like Grand Theft Auto Online without pretending to be anything else, this is probably the closest thing you're going to be getting on Android and iOS. It's less mission-based and more create your own adventure, whereas if you're looking for a multiplayer sort of Grand Theft Auto game with actual RPG grind, you can rest assured that it's at least one of the biggest names in this genre. There's always something happening, always someone to interact with, plenty of ways to build your own story. Highly recommended. It's a free Grand Theft Auto game with extra flavor. Driftfall caught us off guard a little while ago because it really did look like a generic pixel art game, but it sort of turned out to be much more. First of all, the vibe just reminds you of those older RPGs. It just keeps unlocking new systems every few hours, where like 1 minute you're clearing dungeons, and next you're upgrading and chasing materials for a weapon you probably didn't know you absolutely actually wanted. It's not trying to be the deepest action RPG ever made, but it does a pretty good job making progression feel rewarding. Definitely a sleeper hit. At number 14, I'm gonna go ahead and highly recommend Sword X Staff. This is actually a numbered ranked game on the Play Store right now. I don't say this very often, but Sword X Staff is genuinely one of the most addictive mobile games I have played in years. Like at first glance, it just looks like some sort of minimal anime RPG at its best, then somehow like half a day disappears and you're still just chasing another upgrade, another skill, another stage to pass. I wouldn't recommend it at all unless you do have some unhealthy amount of free time to invest here, because regardless of how strong you are going to be addicted to this. One of those rare mobile RPGs where you will say, I'll play for just 5 minutes, then, you know, somehow that 5 minute turned into an entire evening. Solid 9 out of 10, a little greedy, but it has a pretty rewarding pace as well. Gunslinger 2 actually came out way after 2 years apart from its first game. It's basically the question, what if physics were the joke? Like, that question specifically turned into a video game. It's a turn-based dueling game, a little inspired by the famous Worms universe, Worms games. Dumber in a self-aware way. It's also one of the funniest casual multiplayer games on mobile that you can play with or without friends. It's also worth to note that the sequel expanded on basically everything. More weapons, arenas, characters, even more ways for matches to spiral out of control. Pretty simple game to pick up, incredibly satisfying to play. It's also free. Number 16, it is a sort of a hit or miss. It's a game, Ball X Pit, which is first worth to mention. It's actually from the OG developers Devolver Digital, same folks who made Carry On and the Gungeon mobile ports. A ton of other games actually. In fact, Ball Pit is this sort of rogue meets Breaks Breaker inspired bullet hell game that's also layered with some base building and loot hunting, resulting to something pretty intense, smart, and fast from start to finish. Top of that, the controls are tight, offline mode means you can dive in anywhere without any compromise. It's Devolver's signature mix of design and subtle humor that both make it stand out. It says it's a free game when you download it, but it's actually a premium $9.99 purchase. So that's basically why I said it's a hit or miss. No big story or complex systems here getting in the way. Number 17 with Lumberjack Sim 3D. It's as if a very kind indie developer decided to remake an entire PC game for free and just casually throw it on Android for free. Because it's basically, it's really that. It's offline, it is free, it is also bug free, quite polished and neatly ported as well. It's just straightforward simulation with that satisfying resource grind where like every action feeds into the next upgrade. You chop more, earn more, expand more. Pretty simple concept, very relaxed pacing, and one of those games you just zone into while watching numbers go up. Highly recommended. This game's a 10 out of 10 as well. Now look guys, Pepper Grinder is right from start to finish all the way momentum-based platforming. Pretty short game, it is very sharp, extremely focused. One could say it's actually legitimately built for mobile rather than any other console or platform. See, what makes it stand out is just how tight and responsive it feels, besides the levels of design around constant motion, so when you get into the rhythm, it turns into this almost hypnotic movement loop where everything just clicks. The story is also you play as this character called Pepper, a pirate with this giant drill called Grinder, and the entire game is just built around drilling at some insane speed and, going deeper. Everything's about flow, digging, launching, bouncing, and manipulating momentum in this game. At number 19, we've got Kick-Off Football 26. It is actually trying to position itself as a next-gen experience, and it's also built around competitive play. The game pushes technical performance very hard with up to 240 FPS support and some strong customization and overall build for a fast, competitive sim-focused game rather than anything else. Requires a lot of skill, and it's just made in a way to make you want to constantly work hard for rank progression. Matches are, however, designed for some short, high-intensity sessions with real-time one-on-one gameplay, rank ladders, multiple competitive modes as well. It's a very competitive game, it's built for progression. At number 20, it is the phenomenal port of the original Sea of Stars Mobile, and this is legitimately one of the most polished modern JRPGs you can actually take with you anywhere and have a blast, doesn't matter where. Developers actually just confirmed ongoing post-launch support with the free DLC, Thrones of the Watchmaker, and future updates planned to be added down the line as well. So yeah, it's not just a one-and-done release as well, it's still expanding. The mobile version's a full premium release with proper touch controls, cloud saves, controller support. It is amazing, it is very polished, making it a very solid portable way to experience the original game as well. Crysis X is already out in Eastern regions now, while still rolling out and building towards a wider global release in case you can't play it. Honestly, this thing fits that early access MMO survival energy, huge open map, tons of systems, and that constant pressure which is never being safe. Massive survival MMO game in general, but with that classic you versus the world setup where survival is just your only real objective. It's basically just a giant survival sandbox where everything is just competing for your time and resources. Crysis X is an online game, of course, it's free, about 13 to 14 gigabytes in total, and does have controller support. Thanks for watching, I really hope you enjoyed the list. Let me know which one's your favorite. I will see you again tomorrow.